batteries, bike to e-bike conversions, battery diagnosis and repairs, mid-drive conversion kits, ready-made e-bikes, service and repair. Get in touch today at lebikes.co.uk or call or WhatsApp 07355 301 029. Hey everybody, what is up? My name is Liam Angel, aka Straight Shooting LJA, and welcome to another episode of the LE Bikes Opinion Vlogs and Podcast. Now, a couple of interesting things have been going on recently in the world of e-bikes. Specifically, today, I'm going to talk about Lime bikes. Now, obviously, Lime bikes are a hire scheme where you can hire electric bikes. If you don't have one, then obviously you can just use your phone, use an app, and then hire it. But that's not necessarily the issue. The issue is a case of tidiness, it must be said. So, you know what, just going to read a couple of quick things about this. We're going to go backwards to come forward. So starting off actually from June 17th 2024, Lime report calls for increased parking provision for shared e-bikes in London. This is from June 17th 2024. The report says an estimated 30,000 trips are missed in the city every day. A new report commissioned by micro-mobility company Lime, analysing shared e-bike parking in London, has called for increased parking provision, saying a higher density of parking bays should be available in areas such as commercial centres, transport hubs and high streets. The report by transport consultancy Steer and titled Changing Spaces, How to Solve London's Shared E-Bike Parking Challenge, identified more than 750 parking locations across 11 boroughs, which it says can provide additional parking capacity for up to 10,500 shared e-bikes. It follows a study last year which explored the benefits of shared e-bike services and recommendations for future regulation in London, notably that 25 parking locations are needed per square kilometre. It also recommended the creation of 10,000 new shared e-bike parking spaces across the capital. It recommends that also that Lime support London boroughs in the planning and implementation of parking locations to meet demand, reallocate road space for private cars, and establish consistency of density of parking locations. The TfL and London councils are reportedly seeking to put in place a pan-London micro-mobility scheme for both e-bikes and e-scooters that would mean consistency of scheme/design rules, tighter controls, improved parking compliance, better user behaviour and improved safety. And the contract is likely to become operational by early 2026, according to Hounslow Council documents that were shared on Twitter/X at the time. The proposed TfL contract will cover both forms of micro-mobility, but with a slant towards e-bikes, electric bikes. Let's move a little back first. July 1st, 2024, parking will be prohibited on pavements in busy town centre locations after bays are installed. Wandsworth Council is installing 111 e-bike parking bays to encourage active travel across the borough. The spaces will be all on street with the aim to encourage considerate parking and stop bikes being parked on pavements. The council warned Lime back in 2022 that it would impound its e-bikes if more wasn't done to ensure they were parked responsibly. At the end of May this year, 2024, it announced that 58 hire bikes had been seized and impounded in a crackdown, saying the companies concerned would have to pay a charge for their return. Now, 58 e-bikes impounded in Wandsworth. Keep that in mind, because if we fast forward again, this time to October 1st, 2024, resistance to Lime e-bike bays in Oxford. The micro-mobility company Lime's movement to Oxford has not been off to the smoothest start, with local traders protesting the firm painting a new bike bay on a pavement in Fried's Wide Square. Amanda Suleiman Bell, who runs Rainbow and Spoon Boutique, said the firm came and started to paint the white lines outside Lula's restaurant, but we stood in front of them with our arms folded until they went away. The operator did set up a bay in Botley Road outside West Oxford Community Centre, but according to Oxford Mail, it's understood it went ahead with without getting any kind of permission or consent from Oxfordshire City Council. A Lime spokesperson, however, told eBike Tips that it's launched its e-bike service in Oxford in accordance with Oxfordshire County Council's Code of Conduct. Now, obviously it seems like Lime are having issues in Oxford, but that's not the only place, because Lime bikes may be removed from a North West London borough over safety. Brent Council said the dockless e-bikes were increasingly inconsiderately parked and abandoned, causing havoc for disabled people and pedestrians. It added that the company needed to introduce dedicated e-bike parking bays. So kind of like in Wandsworth. Lime said it understood the critical importance of maintaining the safe service and that it was committed to working with the council to deliver the required improvements. The council said it had notified Lime, which has been operating in Brent since 2019, that it must remove its e-bikes from the borough by the 31st of October 2024 if it did not satisfy the council's request, including dedicated e-bike parking bays, in-borough resources to remove inconsiderately parked or abandoned e-bikes, increasing the penalty fine, and community engagement events. The council is receiving repeated regular complaints about the bikes left across paths and roads in a haphazard way. This is putting unsustainable pressure on council staff who are spending time cleaning up after Lime. Lot to unpack, of course, but you know what, yeah? It is very interesting to see that Lime are kind of having different experiences with different boroughs, first and foremost. And not just in London. Now, obviously, London is a major hub, major city, and all that. And it's interesting to see that Lime are expanding into Oxfordshire. But you have to work with the councils. And in my view, if Lime can't get the implementation of their e-bikes right in London, specifically Brent, Wandsworth, among others, then you shouldn't really be expanding to Oxfordshire and expecting people to be happy. Because as much as micromobility, and that is a great way of kind of introducing people to e-scooters and e-bikes, you have to make sure that you have safe places to put them. Now, there is an app called Nextdoor, and I'm on that app. It's kind of a neighborhood community app where people update each other and that kind of thing. But there are so many reports on a daily basis, along with pictures, videos, especially I've seen a lot around the Willesden Green area where you've just got bikes strewn everywhere. And for disabled people, say wheelchair bound, people with cane sticks, it's a case of it is a hazard for them. For children, it's a hazard because e-bikes are not the lightest, they're quite heavy. So you can't expect someone heavily disabled or even handicapped to be picking them up and moving them out of the way. It's not fair. There needs to be a lot more consideration from people using these bikes about how they put them back. But also as well, Lime need to be a bit more responsible. So instead of just chucking a bunch of bikes on the corner of the street and just driving the van away, it's like, well, there should be a proper designated space there, and basically I think they should be installing docks so that you can just slide it into a dock, like the Santander bikes. So instead of just having these bikes just randomly parked everywhere, there should be a specific dock where they are parked, and this is where the issue is coming in. So Wandsworth as a borough installing parking spaces and basically for electric bikes and these scooters, cool, that's all well and good if you've got the space to do it. But if you haven't got the space and you can't just go around painting these things in without getting the permission and agreement of local businesses and local boroughs, you can't do that. You're burning bridges straight away. So that's where in Oxfordshire, that's where that issue is happening. So it's one of them where it's a weird one that it's working in certain places and not working in others. But as I said, with the amount of kind of problems that are going on, I just see it as, I think the onus lies on Lime to be a lot more responsible in teaching people you can't just throw these bikes down anywhere. You can't, like, we're going to invest and we're going to put specific bays, put them back in the bays. Now, I know one of the specific draws of the Lime e-bikes is that you could pick it up from anywhere, go anywhere, leave it anywhere. That's all well and good. But when these bikes are left irresponsibly, it creates more of a headache than it solves. So, I said, blocking pavements, bikes strewn everywhere, it doesn't look good, and practically it's getting in people's way and making stuff a lot more difficult. I said, even especially for those less able to kind of maneuver around. So Lime, in my view, have got a lot more work to do in partnership with these London boroughs and also Oxfordshire City Council as well, to make sure this is done and done right. Because I think it's one of them ones. Like the Lime e-bike, the whole hire thing, being able to take it from anywhere, drop it anywhere. It's a great way of introducing people to electric bikes, but you're actually going to cause more animosity towards electric bikes if it's not done right. So if people just associate e-bikes with, oh, those are those things that are thrown, that people are using and throwing down in the middle of the road, it makes it more difficult for me to go and use the pavement. I have to cross the other side, and it's a lot hard. If you have that kind of association with electric bikes and that's the first thing you think of, it just creates more animosity. And then what that does is that eventually starts slowing up take up of electric bikes. It puts people off it because of the negative connotations. So it is one of them ones. There's a lot more that needs to be done in terms of implementing this hire scheme in the correct way. And the fact that there's a lot of posts on Nextdoor about it. Places such as Willesden Green, I think Kingsbury, there's issues up there as well with these bikes just being strewn around. And it's not just those boroughs either. There's a lot of places where you'll go around, especially by stations, where it's just blocking entrances. It's just Lime bikes blocking entrances. And I said there needs to be more education about and more investment, really, in terms of getting this done and getting this done right. So for me, I said, I wouldn't say, I think Brent maybe are being a bit draconian, saying, you know what, take them off our streets or we're going to ban them from the 31st of October. It's like, whoa, I understand why they're being that serious with it, but at the same time, it's a case of there needs to be a lot more working with. And considering Lime want to expand, the onus, I think, is on them to provide the investment, to be like, you know what, okay, Brent, Wandsworth, instead of just painting these bays, if there's not space to paint these bays, can we set up bays like the Santander bikes? It should be that same way where you have to dock them, because there's also as well with the Lime bikes, there's a lot of stolen ones. So whether they've hacked the software or done whatever they do to get them, you hear that dick, 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 where you can tell that someone hasn't paid for it. They've basically nicked it. And there is a lot of that, so obviously Lime need to tighten up their software. But because people feel that they can get away with just leaving them anywhere, especially people who maybe hacked the app and got on the bike for free, then there's less responsibility. They just think, yeah, I can throw it anywhere, they can't trace me. So yeah, it is one of them ones where there needs to be a lot more work done with these boroughs, with these councils, in regards to sorting these problems out. And I said, I think a lot of these fixes are actually pretty easy. But I said the onus is on Lime. They need to very much be forthcoming and be like, right, cool, we've got the money, we've got the investment to do it, can we have the space? And that is one of the keys. In London, there is such a lack of space. So if space needs to be made, if you're trying to get people out of their cars and onto electric bikes, you need to make the space and make the provisions for it to be a lot easier, a lot more of an easy transition. So like the increase in the cycle superhighways, which I obviously have vlogged about on the LE Bikes opinion piece and vlogs before, that's one step. But if you're wanting to get people who maybe don't have the money to invest in their own e-bike, or their company isn't doing the cycle to work scheme, or whatever the case may be, if they just want to hire an e-bike for a short journey, you need to make those provisions for them. So as I said, the Santander bike style docks need to be implemented by Lime. So like Santander had the partnership with TfL, Lime having the partnership with TfL for the e-scooter scheme and also for the e-bike hire scheme, why not expand it and say, right, cool, let's agree to have a certain amount of docks every couple of miles, so it gets these bikes out of the way and encourage people to put them back in the docks, and say, oh, Lime could be basically like, if you don't put your bike into the dock, then we've got your details, we can fine you for it. If they're not doing that already, I think that would be something to implement. Fines if you're not doing stuff properly, and then you'd see people buck up their ideas pretty quickly. That's just my take. But you know what, I want to know your take. I want to know your take on it. youtube.com/@LEBikes. lebikes.co.uk is our website. We convert regular bikes into electric bikes. We fix batteries. We do diagnostics testing as well with our battery repair service as well. You know, it is one of them ones, if your e-bike needs a service, bring it to us. Come see us. Give us a shout. 07355 301 029 is our number. Call us, text us, WhatsApp us as well. Let us know what your issues are. If you're interested in electric bikes, we are an official supplier for engwe electric bikes, also for himiway long range electric bikes as well as converting. As I said, we use the Bafang mid-drive motors to convert bikes into electric bikes. So it is one of them ones. Bafang are the mid-drive motors we trust for that. Also, you can find us on Instagram, facebook.com/LE Bikes Ltd. You can find us on everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, aka X, Instagram, all of those, TikTok as well. You can also find us there. Have a look for LE Bikes. You can find us on social media as well. As I said, LE Bikes is the official website. Let us know your views. Remember, YouTube is where you can find YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram are where you can find our tips and tricks series to keep your e-bike in tip-top shape. And also as well, you can find the opinion piece, vlogs, and podcasts too. You know what? I have been Liam Angel, aka Straight Shooting LJA, and until next time, take care and happy riding. See you next time. Looking for an electric bike? Want to convert a bike you already have? Or just looking for an extra battery for your e-bike? Check out our range at lebikes.co.uk.